This is Exodus chapter 22, part 2. And when I read you this first scripture, it's going to remind you of a thief robbing a bank, which is a good thing to remind you of. However, there is something else I want you to think about. If a man delivers to his neighbor money or articles to keep, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he shall pay double. Well, simply stated, if a thief breaks into a bank, remember, people go to a bank and they put money in the bank for safekeeping. Of course, they want to get interest too, but they are doing that for safekeeping. Now, if this thief breaks into that bank and steals that money, then he is a complete description of Exodus chapter 22, verse 7. However, now before we go on to that, if the thief steals $1,000 from the bank, God will make sure that the thief refunds to the bank $2,000. That's by God's standard. You steal $1,000 out of a bank, you're going to make sure to pay that bank back $2,000. Now, here's another way you can think about it. Employee theft. Doesn't your employer entrust you with the merchandise so that you sell it? If you steal it, aren't you just as bad as the thief? Think about it. Ponder it. Okay. Verse 8. If the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought to the judges to see whether he has put his hand in his neighbor's goods. Basically, this deals with embezzlement. Okay? This would be dealing with the Ponzi schemes and that kind of thing. Because as far as God is concerned, whoever creates a Ponzi scheme is just as guilty as the thief that robs a bank. You will end up paying double. Nice. For any kind of trespass, whether it concerns an ox, remember this is the one that plows the fields, a donkey, which is transportation, a sheep, which is clothing and animal sacrifices, or just clothing itself, or for any kind of lost thing which another claims to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whomever the judges condemn shall pay double to his neighbor. This is your typical, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Okay? Now, we got person A and we got person B. And they're fighting over a lawnmower. The judges come in there and they see that the lawnmower, and they figure out that the lawnmower actually belongs to person B. So what they do is they say, well, person A, you better give the lawnmower back to person B, and you better make sure to give person B an additional lawnmower. So person B ends up with 2 lawnmowers, and person A ends up with nothing. Wow. Alright. If a man delivers to his neighbor a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any animal to keep, and it dies, is hurt, or driven away, no one seeing it, then an oath of the Lord shall be between them both, that he has not put in his hand into his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept that, and he shall not make it good. Basically, it goes like this. If person B is sitting there, and person A says, look, person A says, look, I'm getting ready to take a trip, and I want you, person B, to take care of my animal while I'm on this trip. Person B says, hey, no problem. So person B let's say it's a sheep. Person B lets the sheep out, grazing the field, whole 9 yards. Well, if the sheep just suddenly falls down dead and person B doesn't even see it, then person B will go to person A when the person A comes back from the trip and say, look, I'm sorry, your sheep fell over dead. We don't know why. It just happened. Then person A will say, well, you know what? Hey, things like this happen. It was either an old sheep or it got disease or something. We don't know. That's just that. Okay? But if in fact it is stolen from him, okay? So person A goes taking this trip after loaning person B, well, not loaning, but having person B take care of his animals, okay? Person A goes taking off on this trip, and person B decides to take the sheep and either sell it off or slaughter it for food, okay? Then person B will make restitution to person A for what he stole. Now, if person A brings person B a sheep, says, hey, would you take care of this while I'm on this trip? And person B says, okay. So person A takes this trip. Now, person B is doing his work. The sheep's not grazing the field. All of a sudden, a mountain lion enters the field and devours the sheep. Then person B will keep the carcass of the sheep until person A comes back and say, look, here it is. The sheep was torn apart by a mountain lion. I didn't even see it until it was already done. I'm sorry. And then person A will say, well, you know what? That kind of thing happens. It's okay, and it's all over. And I'm going to stop that right there. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.